Well, good morning. This session today is going to be taking you into the area of the care that you're going to provide for the campers, the parts of the program, and actually it will conclude at the end of this session pretty much the training you're going to see here till you arrive at your camp, where you get the rest of the things that will help you perform your duties and your tasks and what's expected of you at camp. Again, this is Gene, Jordana. We're excited to be here with you today and to kind of share with you just some of our experience and what it's been like and what we see and your value that you bring to camp. Jordana, you got anything you want to say as an introduction?
Yes, I'm really excited about it because we are going to be performing a lot of these duties in the camp, and we're going to be able to share the love of Jesus with these kids. And we're going to start it right now. Let's start with the program. Let's start with the obligatory meetings that we call. The obligatory is a strong word, but we want to put it there because we want you to understand that this is not an option. You need to be there. These meetings are all meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all meals. You need to be there, even if you're a camper or you don't want to eat because of some reason. You need to be there, or you need to let somebody know why you are not there. The second one is a devotional, so always in the mornings, usually after breakfast. And the third one is evening services. Okay, again, there's three things that you need to do. First, meals, all meals, you need to be there, all meals. Second, devotional, and thirdly, the evening services.
And then the daily schedule that you're going to follow through. We want you to understand is the schedule is put together with a lot of thought and a lot of care about what takes the kids through a camp so that they get a positive experience, the message is carried, and the fun stuff that goes on there is all being done for the kids. So you are responsible to know that schedule all the time. So it's going to be posted around the places that you'll come and go from on various places, which your staff will let you know that when you're there where to find it. But better than that, it's best if you have a copy of either a copy of the schedule or a little handwritten note that you place in your little folder that you carry with you, or your little memo book that you'll carry to keep notes on, so that you always know what is scheduled. Along with that, understand that the schedule tends to change due to weather conditions, due to disruptions, maybe because of some complication that's caused things to be out of order. Maybe somebody couldn't get something together, so we have to change events up at a certain time sometimes. So the point of that is you've got to learn to be flexible, realizing that the schedule does open up the door for complications and issues that otherwise couldn't be avoided. So you got to be aware of those, and knowing that these events are scheduled for you to give you the opportunity to not try to figure out whether or not you're accomplishing what we're there for. So it's all set in place so that your ability to provide ministry to these kids, the things that they're there for, are orderly and fashioned in a way that makes sense and follow a progress from the beginning to the end of camp. Understand, when the kids come, we don't know a whole lot about their experience. Some of them we do, but a lot of them we don't know where they are with their walk with the Lord and their understanding of faith. And so it's all progressive from the time they get into camp till when they go home, to hopefully give them a chance to experience that growth in their life.
It's really interesting, Jim, because in this era of technology, the last 2 years in different camps around the country, especially in the camp in Texas, a lot of our younger workers, they like to have their schedule in their cell phone. And we have no problem with that. If you are going to need that, we need to make sure that our program coordinator of that site knows that the cell phone is going to be used for your schedule. And then we need to figure it out with the program coordinator how we're going to do that. But just for schedule and keeping track of time.
Very good, Jordana. Also, you want to talk about some of the parts of the program?
Yes.
Like the drama and the puppets?
Yes. How the program works is very comprehensive. The whole camp has a theme. Let me give you an example. Like the camp that we're going to do in Peru, has a theme, is Soldiers for Jesus. And every part of the program is related to that theme. We have the dramas are about soldiers, the puppets about soldiers, the craft is about the armor of God, the devotionals is about the how to learn to be prepared with the armor of God. Everything is around that. That means the program of the camp has a lot of things. You know, has drama, has puppets, has craft, has competitions. For this theme, the Soldiers for Jesus, we are going to have an obstacle course. The kids are going to go through an obstacle course, learning how to do, if they were to be a soldier. They're going to have a water bottle, a game, preparation for battle. It's just everything around the theme. That means we are very excited about it, and you will know what is your program in your site.
And we also have morning devotionals. And I want you to understand, the reason we bring this up to you is some of you are going to be tasked with some responsibilities during some of those events. You may be responsible to organize a game for the outdoor activities, even though you have a camper. And so it's really important that you understand how all of that fits together. So you're going to do a game, but it's not just any game. It's a game that feeds into the whole theme and the activity to get people to have this encounter with Jesus. I just want to keep reinforcing that. Our message, our purpose, our reason we do what we do is not just to have a fun camp. It is to have a fun camp, but with all of our goal being to invite people, these kids that come, youth and even some adults that come to the camp, that they have experienced a meaningful, true encounter with Jesus Christ and have had that opportunity to invite Him as their Lord and Savior. So everything we do at camp all centers and leads to that direction. All right, we're going to shift off and go into our next session, which is Campers Care. This is more directly involving you and on what you need as a friend of a camper or as a supporter in the camp, even if you're not going to be assigned a camper, of where we provide an atmosphere that creates openness, a opportunity to be sure that we are operating in love, not just out of pity or that we, trying to do our best to provide what we have to do, but no, it's to really care for these kids.
Yes, and this is a very dear to my heart. I really put a lot of emphasis on this. And the first point of this is campers are first. Always they are first. They eat first, they have fun first, they go to the bathroom first, they compete first. Everything is first. There's only one thing that you do before the campers. And I always, when we are on alive, I try people to guess what it is. What is one thing that you need to do first before your camper is? And a lot of the answers are very, very good. Like you need to do your devotional first, your time with the Lord first, before you work with your camper. But the most important thing is you get up first. You wake up in the morning before your camper. We don't want your camper to be up and you're still sleeping. You get up in the morning first, take care of your devotionals, take care of yourself, your cup of coffee, you get dressed and get everything ready, and then you woke up your camper. And I tease a lot of my teenagers, if it takes you 2 hours to get ready in the morning, let's get up at 5 or at 4 in the morning to get ready. But you know how long it takes you to get ready, and then once that you have that, you can woke up your camper.
And now, does it always work that way? No. There are many times the campers like to wake up early, and they might wake up before you do.
Yes.
And it's important that you understand it's not appropriate for you to yell at them and say, get back in your bed. It's not time to get up yet. So that just means that we have to be flexible. Our goal is to be ready for our campers when they're up and about. But if they get up before us, we get up with them. If they can go back to sleep, we may encourage that. But if they can't, then we got to add to that care of being there for them, and then let somebody in the team know, your head counselor especially, to know that, hey, he was up at 4 o'clock this morning and I've been up since then and I really need some rest. and to give you that opportunity to catch up to that day so that you're not dragging. Understand, though, as campers care first, campers are first always, you cannot provide the best attitude, behavior of your own, and thinking and making good choices when you're fatigued. We know that. So, though we say campers first in that arena, you have to take care of yourself, and that's why we call ourselves a team. If you are just stretched out, you need to always ask for rest time so that you can provide this stuff for the campers. When we're doing competitions and we're doing outdoor activities as well, it gets competitive. It gets to be a lot of fun. You'll see the campers hooting and rooting all the time, and they want to be first. They want to go. It's important that you understand, yes, those are a value. Those are extremely fun and engaging with the kids, but also they can be dangerous. And so we have to always keep in mind, we have to be safe before we elevate everything that we're losing control because everybody's competing so hard to take the top. So always remember, safety over winning.
Competition. Yeah. Safety always over competition. Yes, we want to have fun, but we have had times that have been in the camp that the worker, the friend gets so excited about it, they want the kid to win, that they just go beyond what they should be going. Too fast in the wheel, pushing the wheelchair, or they are just doing something that can be too risky. That means we always think about safety before competition.
And remember, that even when we are in those situations, our purpose is not there to win a game. Always try to keep that in your mind. So don't elevate competition up because you might be competitive. You might like that charge that you get out of that because you did something and wow, look at I got first place in all these events over here at camp. Our team made it to the top. Well, just be careful that we understand not only is it for safety reasons, it's also for effect, that we slow the process down occasionally and just enjoy the ride of there, enjoy the teamwork and that stuff, which helps us then focus on safety at the same time. Your camper that comes likely is taking medications, and as they registered and they come through that registration at the beginning of the camp, your adult health leader knows that medication cycle. You should probably know it as well, and some of your campers might have a little bracelet or some indicator to remind you that they are on a routine scheduled medicated time. So keep it in mind that the medication cycle is important. It needs to be adhered to, but it's not your job to give medications.
Yeah, your job is to know that your camper takes medication, but you are not responsible to give the medication. It's the adult health leader at the camp, the one who does that. But you know that John takes medication at noontime, and if for some reason the nurse is very busy with another camper or with an emergency, and your camper doesn't receive the medication, you make sure that you remind the nurse or the adult health leader that that camper needs to take medication.
Also, Jordana, what about we probably understand that not everybody here knows everything about how to properly care for a camper. How do we deal with that?
Yeah, when you don't know how to do something, when you are concerned about it, when let's say that your camper has a feeding tube, I'm just giving you an extreme case, a feeding tube, and then suddenly you see that the feeding tube is coming out, and you say, oh yeah, I can do that. I'm assuming that you just put it back. This is a rule. This is what we always say. Do not do something if you don't know how to do it. Right away, there's people around the camp that can communicate to the adult health leader or your program coordinator or your head counselor that something is going on, that you need help. Our rule is that if you don't know how to do it, do not do it. But that doesn't mean that through the whole camp you're not going to do it. It means that the first time, the second time, once you feel comfortable, When we know that you can do it, and you have done it with somebody else, you do it. Another thing with that is that we always ask you, when you are doing something with your camper and need help, maybe some campers need help to get dressed or help them in the bathroom, always leave door opens, and always, if it's possible, have somebody else with you in the room. Always is better to have two people in case that the camper slips out of your hand and then comes, the wheelchair move or whatever. You have somebody else that can spot an issue and can help you.
Very good. And also, hopefully during your registration time, once you get into camp and go through your preparation that's at the campsite, people are going to be identified in there that have had experience working with the different varieties of issues that go on with the campers that you'll have. And just be aware of that. Make sure you identify some of those people that have experience working with those kinds of things that your camper may have. Suspect that maybe your camper might have a seizure disorder. And if you've never been around, worked with people that had seizures, it's very uncomfortable. It's pretty scary. And so take advantage of the others' experiences and know who they are, so that if you know something's going on, you can just call out for that person to come and help and identify that. So just be aware. Our way of saying it usually is, if it's their first time of doing it, don't assume that it's easy. Rather than doing that, follow the guidance of some practitioner, somebody that knows what to do in that case. And don't just watch them, get engaged with them while they're doing it, so that helps you become comfortable. The campers come with a whole lot of stuff. Some campers, I remember several different cases where the family that brought the kids, they brought a trailer just for all the gear for their family member that's coming to camp. And we unload that, and it's like a pickup truck load of different kinds of specialty adaptive equipment that they need in order to do their life. And so it's very, very critical that we know what they need, how it's used, what its purpose is, and that it's recorded properly through the inventory. So you're going to get this in a lot more detail when you get to camp. But understand that all of the stuff they bring to include a pair of socks, all the way up to heavy equipment that they might need in order to function there, is very, very critical for you to know that it's there and that it goes back home, but it's also used during their experience at camp. Yeah. It is not appropriate for us to try to adjust their lifestyle and move to something new, that just because you think there's an easier way to do it than what they do at home or what they brought to do it with, that's not appropriate for us just to make that choice and try to do something simple.
I want to remind you that when the kids come to camp, when the campers come to camp, they're come to be with us. They're come to have fun. They're come to know Jesus. They're come to, have an experience. They're not coming to modify behavior or change behaviors. If your camper likes to eat his milk with, coffee or whatever, and just has a kind of strange, eating habit, it's not our responsibility to change that behavior. Our responsibility is to have them here with us, being comfortable and being safe, and know that they are being cared.
John, talk about their need for having scheduled bathroom breaks and things like that throughout the day and evening.
Okay, it's very important for us because they are so excited to be with us. They never have been in a place where they have one-on-one taking care of them, like you, a friend, and then we need to schedule bathrooms, Of course, before they go to bed at night, you make sure that they go to the bathroom, and if they if the application says that they need to get up at night at least once, you make sure that you know that way you can help them, that way you don't have an accident in the morning. But during the day, it's important because they're going to be doing the craft, they're going to be going to competitions, to games, to swimming, to all different things like that, and they don't want to stop or they don't remember that they need to go. And when they have to go, it's a little bit too late because they don't have time to go. That means schedule bathrooms. Every 2 hours, you take your camper to the bathroom to be able to go.
Very good, and that's day and into the evening as well. Gerard, is there anything else you could think of that we should cover on the proper way to care for our kids when they're there?
I think the best thing is have fun. I wanted you to have fun with your camper, enjoy your time with them, have fun in the competition, have fun in the games, have fun in the evening services, and make sure that you know that the reason that you are there is because of Jesus.
And that's very, very good. And also, when you're providing care, some of you that have not experienced this before, there's some very, very personal moments that you're going to have connecting with those campers in ways that might feel awkward to you. It might feel uncomfortable for you to begin with. But understand, these campers, when they come, they've been used to the kind of care they need all of their life to now. So if they need care in the bathroom, help to get on the toilet, help to wipe their butt, whatever it is that needs to happen, understand that's routine for them. They're not uncomfortable with that. It's only you. And so I just want to have you carefully look at your heart and prepare yourself for providing just that simple, loving care that needs to happen and things they can't provide for themselves. We don't make assumptions just because we experience something there that they should know better, that they should be able to do this task without somebody helping them. And so just be careful of your thoughts, and if those thoughts come to you by what you observe with them, it might be true. But don't let that taint what you're there to do with them. Because as Jordana just said, we are not going to change them. We are going to provide that help for them. We're going to talk, from here, we're going to talk a little bit about medical care, only because you're going to get a little more details at the camp, hopefully, on some of these things that are specific, because the medical care often leads to direct care for the needs of the camper, and it's so hard to explain that in this format. It's also because we don't know all of the essential things about each of these campers that are coming to be able to provide those specifics. Because if you have a camper that requires transfer in a wheelchair, well, that transfer can look differently for every camper that would ever be there. So it needs to be specific for the kinds of equipment they have, for their body size, for their abilities that they have alone, and all of those things. So we want to be a little careful so we don't give you the wrong information. But it is important as well that that you understand. We'll talk about wheelchairs to begin with. Understand when you're having a camper that's in a wheelchair and they are total care, that they have no use of their lower extremities, that they can't stand up by themselves at all. If that's the case, that's a full-time, it's a full-on experience to move them from that chair to wherever else they need to go. They may not have any ability to do that. So one of the most critical things is, at least until you're comfortable with how to do that, don't do it alone. Always have somebody else there when that transfer needs to occur, whether that's in the bathroom, whether that's in, maybe they want to sit in a chair instead of in a wheelchair. Until you're comfortable with what they can do and they can't do, always have assistance. And again, safety first. So when you're doing the wheelchair, you lock the wheelchair down, you open up the armrests, you move the feet rests aside, get everything out of the way that would be an obstacle to helping that camper get up and move to where you need them to move. And that's not an easy memory for most of us, because it's just, I can see a person sitting there, I go grab him in front and move him. Well, there's other issues that can happen. Not only do you injure that person, you can injure yourself by trying to do it all alone and not knowing how to do what does need to be done. Any other on the wheelchair, Jordana?
No, it's going to be specific to your camp, and you're going to have an adult health leader, and you will have in the camp that you're going to be working people that have had experience to do this. That means I'm sure that you will receive the appropriate training and help to be able to transfer somebody from a wheelchair to a bed, from a wheelchair to a bathroom, or from a wheelchair to a chair. And again, we need to stress that. Do not do it alone. Always do it with somebody else that can help you in case that you slip or you failed or the camper failed. You make sure that somebody is there with you.
You know, and also some of us don't know enough to know what a camper can do. And if that is you because maybe you've never worked with a person that's disabled, especially with the level of disability, maybe the camper you will have, how they deal with it. And because of that, we're reluctant sometimes on what to do that would be appropriate, so we do nothing. And I just want to encourage you to don't let yourself do that. Find out quickly when you meet your camper what they like, what they can do. If they're in a wheelchair, they may not like sitting in their wheelchair all day while everybody else is sitting on chairs. They may not like sitting in their wheelchair when you go out and sit on the grass. They might want to get down on the grass with the others. So don't be afraid of finding out what it is that they can do and what is appropriate, so that when those situations change, you are ready to do with them, to get them so that they're comfortable and being as much in the game, in the activity, in the event as everybody else that they can possibly be. Because sitting in a wheelchair, standing up with a walker, laying flat on their back may be what they need most of the time, but sometimes that's not what they need. They need to be as engaged as they can, and that's what they want. If that's what they want, we need to be open to be able to discover them. And this kind of leads me into this thought, Jordana, is I know we mentioned it earlier in one of the other sessions. These campers come with total ignorance, some of them. If they've never been to camp before, they have no clue what to expect. They don't know what's going to go on. They don't know how you're going to connect with them or who you are. They don't know anything about what's going to be like at camp when they get there. So they're just as inhibited by those personal emotions and not knowing what they don't know as we are, as you are. And so the beauty of this is you get right away in the opportunity to connect with them in a very, very personal way, to develop that friendship, to develop that relationship, so that the fear that you have is taken away by the friendship that you develop with them. Because then and don't assume either that they don't know what they need. They do know what they need. They know what they like. They know whether it's okay to move from one place to another, to get in and out of the wheelchair. And some of them can be pretty tricky, right?
Yeah, and at the same time, let them show you.
Right.
I mean, there are some campers that are very verbal, that they can talk, and they are very intelligent too, and they know what they want, how they want to do it. Let them do it. Let them tell you. Let them teach you. As on other campers, when you have registration, you will talk to their mom or their dad or their caretaker, and the caretaker will tell you, she likes to be transferred this way or that way, or she likes her, her food put in this side of the tray, whatever it is. These 4 days, 3 days, 5 days that you're going to have them, we are not going to change things that they do. We're just going to help them to have fun.
Yes. Okay, also, many of the things you're going to do are outdoors. And what we have outdoors might have rain, we might have sunshine, we might have bugs. And so it's really important that don't always just think about you, think about your camper. Make sure they have a hat if they need a hat. Make sure they have bug spray if they need to be protected from the mosquitoes or whatever else is going on out there. Make sure that they are hydrated all the time. whatever that looks like for them. That there should be each camper should have a water bottle with them all the time. You should have water with you all the time, and not only just carrying the bottle full of water, but drinking it and keeping themselves hydrated and protected from dehydration, and also protecting them from sunburn. It's just not healthy for us to keep our kids sitting out in the sun watching a game or participating in a game if it's really hot, straight sunshine, and we haven't done anything to protect them. They might be having a lot of fun, but at the same time they may not. I don't know if you're going to have where you're going to be at camp, whether there's going to be swimming or other kinds of outdoor events like horse riding or any of that kind of stuff. But if whatever is there at the camp, you've got to be able to prepare yourself for those events. Don't wait till it's time to go and oh no, what do I got to do? Because what happens? Then you forget little pieces to go through that, so to provide that care for them that they need. The last thing about medical stuff that I'd like to talk about is they do come with all kinds of medications and prescriptions and stuff that they take. The adult health leader at your camp keeps all of that contained and provides that when it needs to be. Now sometimes that may be during meals, sometimes it may be before they go to bed, when they wake up, or just a routine time during the middle of the day that they have to take these medications. And I just don't want to leave you thinking that you are the one that's going to be administering those medications or providing that care. You are there to provide the opportunity for that care to be given. That means you need to know those cycles, so that if your adult health leader is busy doing something else, you don't run off with your camper and go do something that makes it more complicated for them to have that medical care that they need at that time. So you know their cycle. If it's right after the meal time and they haven't come to you yet to do that, you don't just get out of there early and go off, and now she's got to go drag around looking for you to take care of your camper. So be very, very careful that you know that cycle.
Yes.
Anything else, Jordana, you can think of?
I think we are very excited about it. We will ask you that any questions that you have, make sure you ask. Don't think that, no, I'm not going to ask. That's not a real question. Just ask, because somebody else has it. And then we are hope that you can really enjoy the camp and have fun and enjoy the presence of God.
You know, also, as I mentioned in one of the earlier sessions, you're not going to have a lot of time to go through a lot of the training stuff at your camp that sometimes we are used to doing with the team that comes, just because there's a constraint that doesn't allow for that. But you have, now that you've watched these different training sessions, at the end of each session, I trust that you've done is made a little notes of things that maybe we didn't cover to the detail that would be valuable for you. Write those questions down, bring them with you. If you don't get to ask them in front of a group in a session, you can ask your leadership, whether it's your adult health leader, whether it's your program director, your camp administrator, your head counselor, your craft person, your pastor at the camp, and all of those people there all have information that would be helpful. All of those people have experience at the camps or at this kind of a ministry elsewhere, and would probably be able to lead you in the right direction to get your questions answered. As Jordana just said, your questions are important, no matter how you're not certain that they're a valuable question or not. They are important, and if you don't ask them, then we may miss something that somebody else needed that information as well, because we didn't think about it when we were talking through these sessions or at camp. So please record your comments, your questions, your needs to know information, and bring it with you to camp so it can be discussed there. I do want you to know that when we are at camp, we will spend time together, whether it's with me or with someone else at the camp, if I'm not at your camp, that has ministerial responsibility for the operations at the camp. We are there not only for the campers, we're there for you. We want this camp experience to be a growing and developing part of your journey with the Lord. And in order to create that environment the best we can, we need to be very observant and very open to express and participate with the Lord in our life in those moments. So when you're at camp, pray. Don't give up. Don't get up. Don't get away from that. You pray and ask the Lord for help. You ask Him for understanding and wisdom. You ask Him for all kinds of things that will help you to walk away from there and realize that He has refreshed you. He has blessed you. Not just think about you're there for the kids. That is what you're there for on a very specific role, but you're there as His kid, and He loves you, and He wants you to experience His presence all day long while you're there.
And more than anything, I want to remind you that at camp, we are a team. We are all together, working together for one purpose, because of Jesus. We are there because Jesus asked us to be there, and we have the privilege to do what we do. But we are a team. If something going on with you, you need to let us know, let the pastor know, let the head counselor know that we care. We want to care for you and want to help you. Thank you for listening to these videos, and then please keep questions, and they will be answered by your program coordinator or your camp director.
And remember to memorize and know Romans 8:16 that says, what, Jordana?
His Spirit witness to our spirit that we are children of God. Remember that this ministry is not about mental ability or physical ability. It's about the Spirit of God witnessing to the spirit of man that you are His daughter or His son.
So with that, when you get to camp, be looking for an awesome encounter with Jesus. Thank you.
Thank you.